feel like I'm getting a haircut. Welcome to another video. The day after the Champions League week. Champions League week. There were some big, exciting games. And again, none other than Real Madrid. But first and foremost, I want to give a shout out. It's really cool. It's pretty special to me. I got my first subscriber, so shout out to you. I don't think you have your name on there, but you have an icon of Barcelona, so you're a Barcelona fan. Celtics, you're a Celtic. Damn, you do. And I can't make out the other one. Damn, I'm a Laker fan and a Real Madrid fan. Probably, what are you? Are you a Patriots fan too? But anyway, thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Hope you're watching. So yeah, that's really cool and exciting for me. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to my lone subscriber at the moment. Thanks. So yeah, back to Champions League. Back to really Real Madrid and what's going on with them. I think you have to take your hats out to Tottenham, however you want to say it. Team that was playing at home, and man, they were playing well. I think the main problem for Real Madrid was that Tottenham's line was so high up that it was so congested in the midfield that you could see that Modric, primarily Isco, wasn't giving those through balls to Benzema and Cristiano just seemed to be getting frustrated. And man, I think it's just a lot. That's just like the tip of the iceberg of what the hell is wrong with Real Madrid. Being a Madrid fan, it doesn't look pretty. And I think the main reason is that they're just not as deep as years past, right? Like I said, Modric is playing a ton of minutes. So is Kroos. Isco's never looked to me like a 90-minute player, meaning if you really pay close attention to Isco's style of play, he'll hold on to the ball, dribble, and just get tired, and then he'll make run. That's not to say he's a bad player, right? It's just that I think he probably does a little too much or tries to do a little too much. And you can just tell that around the 60 to 65 minute mark, 60 to 70 minute mark, he's just gassed. He's just running, his mouth's open, and he's just breathing a little bit heavier. And the kid, he's a great talent. But I just, back to their problems, it's that midfield with that defense. I think there's just too much space, especially when they're defending. I think Modric and Kroos, like I said, they're too tired, so they're staying too high up. And then, Tottenham did a great job in counterattacking. They had some great chances. And you can just tell that Modric and Kroos are just tired. Even though they're going to say, no, physically we're fine, yada, yada, yada. It's just, you can just tell on the pitch, right? And then Casemiro, don't get me with Casemiro. Don't get me started with the ball on his feet. He's a great defender, but with the ball at his feet, you're looking at trouble with him losing the ball and then having to slide tackle some guy, and you're praying that he doesn't get a red card, right? So yeah, it's just that midfield is tired, and then they just don't have enough depth on that bench to, meaning talent-wise, right? Well, even on defense, you saw Ashraf, I believe, the 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. Sure, he's young, he's not very well experienced, but there's not much more talent out there than Carvajal, right, out in the right, the right back position. You could say that Casemiro wasn't that great of a player, at least with Real Madrid he wasn't, but I think he gave him a little bit more, at least better crosses in the box, I'd say. But yeah, Ashraf still has a ton of time to develop. He looks promising, right? You can't blame it entirely on him, but that's just a small sample size. Then you have Ramos, who I'm sure is exhausted as well, right? He plays a ton of minutes. And then Rafael Varane is injured. There's no Pepe. There's not that security blanket that was Pepe, although You know, he had his... I mean, a lot of people didn't like him just because of his style of play, very aggressive or sometimes a little too... I mean, a lot of embellishing coming from a Madrid fan. So yeah, do I think they're going to win anything? I mean, surely right now it doesn't give you that impression. I don't think... is it going to get better? I mean, they're only going to get more exhausted as the season wears out, right? I think Modric still has World Cup qualifying to play off with Croatia. Obviously, Champions, La Liga, Super, or Copa del Rey. Oh, Jesus. I don't know. I don't... Champions League, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of other teams that are probably looking better than Real Madrid at this moment, and they should be favorites, rightfully so, right? But La Liga still... I think a lot of things can happen in La Liga just because it's so long and they still have the big teams to play. The Barcelonas and Atletis and Villarreals. So I think there's still a little hope there. Not so much in Champions League. So that sums up the Real Madrid segment. I think, like I said, there's probably a little bit more teams that are looking better. And I'd say one of those teams is probably PSG, right? I think offensively, and I think they just missed. I mean, they were missing that Neymar piece, right? They needed that something, that ignition to the vehicle, if you will, right? That key that was just going to get everything rolling, and that's what he's been doing. And I think PSG is probably the favorite, in my opinion. They finally have Neymar, a missing piece. It's crucial, right? That gets that offense going. Defense is solid. You have other great players around him. Personally, that's probably my favorite at the moment. Barcelona... See, because the big names in Spain, it's almost like college football here in the States if you watch it. It's usually the Alabamas or the SEC and Champions League, La Liga, I mean the Spanish teams. But I think this is the year where I think an English side could come in, maybe a Man City, like I said, a PSG. I don't think Juventus, I think it's just it's exhausting getting to the finals year in and year out. Or Juventus has gotten there like 2 or 3 times in the past 4 or 5 years, something. So I think Juventus is kind of took a little bit of a dip, especially with the absence of Dani Alves. Believe it or not, the dude is still balling at the age of 380. I'm just kidding. He's a great player. So yeah, like I said, I think PSG is going to make a serious run this year, and I think an English side might take it because Tottenham looked really, really good at Wembley. Even at the Bernabeu, they look good. I just think there's too many holes in the Spanish teams, the big Spanish teams. Barcelona's too dependent on Messi. The defense is You know, like you're praying Piqué is on his game, and same with Mascherano. I think this is probably in a really, really long time where it's very unpredictable who's going to win the Champions, and I think that's what makes it exciting. So yeah, that's going to be it for this week's Champions League recap. Hope you guys have an awesome, Thursday? Weekend, if I don't make it. Yeah, I probably will. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Let me know in the comments who's the favorite. What was your take on this week's Champions League matches and who seems like the favorite thus far in the group stage? I also forgot to mention a Bayern Munich side, but I think they're a little bit old. I think Bayern Munich is, their it guys are a little bit older, and Carlo Ancelotti with the whole departure, I'm sure. But they still have some pieces that, of course, are going to contend, right? You can't really knock them out and say, well, they're out of the race, because they still have some brilliant players. But yes, I'm going to reiterate it for the 40th time. English side, PSG, probably the favorites for me at the moment. Spanish sides, like I said, have too many holes And they're just not as deep, right? I mean, if Real Madrid isn't deep, Barcelona isn't any deeper either. I'm talking in terms of their bench. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Hope you guys have an awesome day, guys. Take care. Much love.